Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So I've got the announcements up. We are in week 3, and I can't believe we're there already. Selling OS shirts again. Exactly, me too. Stephanie, they have had a t-shirt for sale that says Awesome Sauce on the front. I don't know if you've seen the emails on that. I know they're taking orders for that. So you might be able to email or call the front desk, and they could shoot me the email that has the pictures. It's got like, it looks like a ketchup bottle on the front, and it says Awesome Sauce, and then it has different things on the back too. It's really cute, and lots of different colors to choose from too. I just think it's fun to have a t-shirt to show off, you know, where I work, and for you guys where you go to school too. Exactly, exactly. So here we go. Week 3, we are over halfway with our course, and as always, time is flying by. I wanted to bring up experiential credit, and first of all, could I get a show of hands who has heard of the experiential credit before? If you hit your hand button there. Just give me a hands up if you've heard of it before. I know a few of you have. And if you're not sure where the button is, it's on the left-hand side. You'll see a smiley face, a person with a clock on their face, and then you see a hand. And if you'll hit that button, that will show you raising your hand on my controller. So if I'm right, it looks like no one has heard of it before. Oh no! Okay, so I want you guys to know about experiential credit. What it is you will have, if you're an AOS student, you'll have your AOS classes, then you'll have your ECE classes. And at the very end, you'll do what's called an externship, where you'll be doing, you'll be working at someplace in child care. It might be a daycare center, it might be a school, it may be a preschool. So the beautiful thing is that it's up to you where you work, where you get your experience. But the great thing is if you already have quite a bit of life experience with early childhood education, you can skip the externship. So what you have to do is apply for the experiential credit, and Stephanie Lawrence can help you with that. There's a form that you fill out. You have to write up a page about what all you have done. You have to make a list of sort of everything you did at the Early Childhood Center. Have you taught? Have you made lesson plans? Have you managed behavior? You really list everything that you've done because you're proving that you've already had this experience. For someone that hasn't worked in early childhood education or hasn't been there very long, the externship is a wonderful thing. It can help get your foot in the door at a place and help you get experience. But if you have already had that, I want you to know that there is a way. How long would you have to work to qualify? 2 months or teacher? Oh, wonderful, Ashley. So you're moving to a master teacher. Great. You know, I'm not sure if there is a time limit. You know, like you have to have worked there a year or something. But I'll tell you what, Stephanie will be able to tell you on that. So if you could shoot Stephanie Lawrence an email, she could tell you if there is a certain amount of time. I just know what happens on the other end. You're welcome. It's not extra credit, Benita. Actually, it's a way of not doing an externship. So, for instance, with you, you've worked in the Early Childhood Center. You've had a lot of experience, and you may be able to skip that as well. Can you apply for it now? You need to apply for it when you're almost finished. And the thing is, if in the meantime, if you're still working, you're getting more experience as you go along, that you could add to that page that you write up about what all you've done. So you don't have to worry about it, don't stress on it, but when you get close to doing your externship, that's when you can apply for it. I think it costs $25 to apply, but once you filled out the form, written up your page, it goes to committee members who read it and then decide if they think you've had enough experience. So I hope that helps a little bit. It's just something that I want you guys to know about. It's pretty neat. Some colleges offer this as a way of skipping maybe a semester-long course, or in our instance maybe a month-long course, but this is actually a way to show that you've already fulfilled a lot of the requirements or the things that you would learn with an externship. So it's not for sure. No, it's not for sure, but if you've written it up well and you have had your experience, you're pretty much guaranteed. They just mainly want to know, will it help complete the diploma? It could actually help you complete the diploma a little bit sooner. So that's great too, right? And then Faith, how long is the externship? The externship depends on how long you make it. It depends on how many hours a week you can work. If you're going to work, say, a 40-hour week, like as a full-time job, you could get it done in a few months. But if you're just working, say, 10 or 20 hours a week, I don't know the exact number amount right off the top of my head, but there's a certain number of hours you have to get in your externship. Your trial. Now, Benita, don't you work at a child care center? Okay, you've worked in 3 in the past. How long? Like how long did you work in early childhood? Oh, just 3 different ones in the past. Okay. Gotcha. See, that's an example of 3 different ones. See, you are an example of someone that you've had a lot of experience already. You've ran a classroom probably. You've managed a playground. You may have helped with snacks. You go through all the things that you've learned. Maybe you've done some observations already in the classroom, and all that can go towards your externship, so that you write it up for us, you tell us all the things that you've done, go into great detail, and then from there we get to decide. It's actually Dr. Meadows, which is our building director, that I think has the final approval on that. So, but like I said, guys, be sure if you think you might apply for this or that you might qualify for it, just contact Stephanie Lawrence and she can walk you through it, okay? Awesome. Okay, the last few things on our announcements. Please remember to post to the discussion boards early. Try to get those early on the week so that other students can reply to you. Have assignments turned in by Sunday at midnight, which most of you are doing a great job at that. And also be sure to take your quiz. What are they due? On what things they, on the externship? Oh, the discussion. Get your first post should be in by Wednesday at midnight. And then you need to reply to 2 other classmates before Sunday at midnight. And don't forget, sometimes I'll shoot you a question in there for bonus points too. So be sure and follow your thread. Check back on it from time to time to see if I've asked you a question so you can get this bonus point. Yes. And also on the quizzes, those the due date on that is Sunday by midnight. However, the sooner you take it, the sooner I can get it graded and see if you need to retake it. Because remember, you want to make an 85% or better on your quizzes, and you have unlimited attempts to do that. Let me see here. Oh, I have this finger pointer tonight. Can you see this? I finally found something so that I can point to areas that I'd like for you to look at on the board. It's big for me. I'm excited. Okay, so now that we've covered our announcements, let me see. There are other assignments that are in the grade book. They confuse me. I may look in there. Maybe we have some stray ones from last time, Lauren. It should just be our assignments for the next 4 weeks. All of those should be up there. And they're coming up in grade book. I'll look at that, okay? I'll look at that and make sure there's not something that needs to be deleted. Maybe it shouldn't be. It says past due 200. Yes, no, you're not that many days overdue. You should be fine. I'll check that, okay? Okay, our final project is due the last week of our class, and each of our live sessions we've been going over a little section of the eFolio because I want you to be comfortable with it when you're completing this. This is a fairly large project. In our first class, we went over our first live lecture, we went over what a mission statement is or what it should look like. We also, our second live lecture, we looked at the breakfast, lunch, snack menu that you'll need to create. And remember, you're doing 1 month worth of menus. We also looked at a program incident or accident report, and that one was called the Boo-Boo report, I believe is what it was. So you guys are to find all of those on your own, right? You're going to find examples or you're going to build examples of these. Now, number 4, 5, 6, and 7 on the eFolio are all interview questions. Yes, you both certainly can take. Yeah, so 4, 5, 6, and 7, the easiest way to look for interview questions, because it needs to be specific to the job that's listed. For example, you need specific questions that go with an infant teacher, a preschool teacher, a school-age teacher, and then an assistant director. So what you can do is go on the internet and in the search box, type in interview questions for infant teacher, and believe it or not, you're going to get a list of some of these questions. Go through a couple different websites, pick the ones that you think are best. I just don't want you to repeat the questions over and over on each of these, so be sure and pick unique questions for each one. And all you need to have is a list of 10, and be sure and title it on number 4, 10 interview questions for infant teachers, so I know specifically which job and which questions it goes to. So let me see. Oh, Stephanie's back. Good. Okay. On number 8, we have new employee orientation checklist, and I'm going to show you an example here in just a minute. But I want to skip down to 9, 10, 11. Oh no, I'm sorry, Stephanie. Am I back again? I hate it when I freeze. Okay, good. On 9, 10, and 11, you have job description for an infant and toddler teacher, job description for a preschool, and job description for a school-age teacher. Now these are exactly as the interview questions are. If you'll go on the internet and in your search box, type in those specific words, job description for an infant teacher, you're going to come up with job descriptions. So I don't want you guys to have to come up with all of these on your own. There are plenty of examples on the internet, and I want you to use those, okay? Because someone else has taken hours of their time to come up with these lists and to come up with these job descriptions, and that's great, and we want to be able to use that. That's what you would do as a director as well. Most of the time we don't come up with them all on our own. So yes, please use the internet. Our next slide. Okay, here's our example of a Child Development Center new employee orientation checklist. This is one of the items you need to have. So on this one, this is just to give you a few ideas of what you might include on your checklist. You might have one that you've used before. You might have one from a center that you're at. I had a checklist when I started at CCC, and it really helped me get oriented. So, for example, hours of operation are listed on here. Your employee position that says exactly what you will be doing, because employees don't like that up in the air feeling where you're like, I'm really not sure what my job is or what I should be doing. So be sure and give them a job description. Tell them the role of the director of the facility, what they do. Give their daily and weekly schedule. They need to know when to be there. How to enter and exit the building, because each center is going to have their own set of the guidelines for that. Pay periods, name tags, leave policies, phone usage, visitor policy, constructive problem solving, which is wonderful, and a basic daily schedule, what your day is going to be like. So this is just an example of some things that you might have on the checklist you build. Just remember that you need to have 20 altogether, okay? And I want you guys to feel good about this project and not have any questions about it. Part 2 of your final project. You're to find the layout of a classroom floor plan. You can find these online. I want you to choose specifically one of these types of rooms: infants, toddlers, preschool, or school age. So you're going to find a floor plan that's already been drawn up. And then on number 13, now some of these floor plans, with this, the last time, oh, with the floor plans, is that what you need, Faith, or just with this project? Yes, okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Well, I hope I can help you through this a little bit more. Yeah, it is a pretty big project. So on number 12, you find a floor plan that's already made, and the easiest way to do this, in your search box on your internet, type in either layout for classroom or type in classroom floor plan, and once you get your search results, click on images. It's usually in the upper left-hand corner of your screen, and you'll be able to see a whole list of images of different floor plans. It's a great, easy way to find them. So you're going to find one that you like, and then you're going to come up with a list of items that you would need to supply this floor plan. You're welcome to use catalogs. You're welcome to use the internet. You don't have to include pictures. I just wanted a list and a price out to the side saying how much it would cost. So for instance, if you're supplying a toddler classroom, you might have a toddler size table with 4 chairs. Or what? Well, Lauren, I'm really, it's kind of like combine both. I want this to be sort of like a dream classroom for you, the things that you would specifically want in there, but you do need to include some of the basics as well that DHS would want there. Yeah. So you might even include a rug. You might include a sand and water table. You might include about how much it would cost for books, because you are going to want to have a books and bookshelves. You might include blocks. So try to visualize this classroom and then put everything in it that you would need. And then you're going to do the same thing with the playground. Now you can find playground layouts on the internet as well. Type in playground layout or playground floor plan. Do the search, click on images, and you'll get lots of different ideas. Now, One thing that I had thought of, and I'd like to leave it up to you if you do this or not, is if you feel like drawing the floor plan to your classroom, if you've done that before, you could do that. If you'd like to hand draw your playground, you can do that as well. I know it's hard to do these things on a computer if you're wanting to do maybe a custom shape. So if you think back to one of our last classes when I had you do the activity webs, you drew it out and then took a picture of it, you could do the same thing here. So if you're artistic and you want to draw one of these, you can. Now on the playground, you're going to include the playground equipment that you're going to have on there as well. So you're going to have to look up some prices for some playground equipment. It's probably going to be a big eye-opener because these can be very expensive. But I want you guys to have this experience, since this is a management class, to give you an idea of what all goes into these classrooms and into the playground. Now here is an example, and I hope you can see this okay. Here's a classroom layout floor plan for 2 infant rooms. So just take a moment to look at this. Look at how they have things set up. Look at how we have the rocking chairs are in the back corner. I get to use my pointer now. We've got rocking chairs. We've got a small enclosed play area. Now remember, this is for infants, so this would be floor toys. You've got a crib area, 1, 2, 3, 4 cribs, and I'm not sure if these are seats over here or 2 more cribs. Then you've got your diapering area, a sink. I'm not sure what this is. It could be a refrigerator, as I'm guessing, if we're needing to refrigerate formula or breast milk. And then you've got some storage area here as well. So those of you that have worked in infant rooms before, what do you think about this layout? Does this look pretty good? I want you to take a minute to kind of analyze it. At the back here, we've got a window on each side. So each classroom has 2 windows, 1 exterior wall, so you would get some natural daylight. You've got the cribs all grouped together, eating and cubby area. So what do you think of this classroom? You guys tell me, is it a good layout? I want you to be able to look at a floor plan and say, yes, you know, I'd like to teach in that room. That looks like it would be very useful. I like the way the furniture is arranged. You wouldn't have the cribs in the center of the room. I kind of agree, Ashley. I thought that myself. Because you'd have the infants all grouped together. When one gets upset, everybody probably gets upset, right? And in the middle of the room. Yeah. Exactly, exactly. I think so too, Chelsea. I think it would be great if maybe the cribs were along this wall, or at least 2 pushed way back, so that they're not all together. Right. So great. So you're getting the idea of it. I want you to be able to analyze it. And not where the babies could see each other. That's true too. Not a lot of sleeping going on when babies can see each other. Yes, definitely a distraction, and if one is upset too. I mean, you could always leave the room if you had one upset and crying, but that many babies in an area might be a little difficult to handle. That's true. So there is an example. Now, you guys could use a similar floor plan for your portfolio. It's okay if it has furniture showing in it already. I just want you to be sure and give me the prices. So for example, in this classroom, you're going to look up the price for the rocking chairs. You list how many cribs you're going to have. Maybe you have the small table down here. Look up the price for that. And you're going to tell me what all you need for that classroom. Okay? Next, we have an example of a playground, because now this one, it's hard to see the minute print on there. However, what I liked is that you could see the basic shape of this playground. Now maybe you want a square or an L-shaped playground or a rectangular shape. This one's circular, and I thought it was really eye-catching. It has little roadways here, probably little concrete or asphalt paths. One thing that I would change would be the paths would go all the way around the circle, which would be great for riding bicycles or other toys with wheels. So I like you could sort of set up a little traffic way there. Then we've got the play items in the middle, and you guys get to pick what you want in your playground. So look them up on the internet. They're going to be thousands and thousands of dollars, but we're going to pretend like you don't have a budget, so that's okay. You can pick these out. Now, if you look at this floor plan, these little circles over here, those are supposed to be trees. So we've got trees at each of the corners. One thing that I might change would be to have a shade area somewhere in this playground. I'm not sure if you guys saw on the news where the little boys from Bonita were burned very badly at a splash pad that they had gone to with their daycare provider. There were lots of pictures on Facebook and on TV as well. These little boys were from Bonita. That's about 20 minutes from where I live. I know, it was so sad, and they were light-skinned. They were out in the sun all day and no sunblock. So this is something that should have been taken care of. Yeah. So that's something you need to think of with your playground as well. It shouldn't be all in the sun. You should have some shade areas. Which leads us to Chapter 7. And I think what I'm going to do, since we just spent so much time with the announcements and on the e-portfolios, we're just going to skip through this a little bit. There's a few things that I really want to show you. I've got some great pictures I found. We're talking about your physical environment in Chapter 7. So the physical environment is anything that's inside the center or anything that's outside. So like we just talked about, it could be the floor plan for a classroom, or it could be a playground. The effect on the physical environment has an effect on the children and the teachers as well. The children is how much room they have, how the flow of the room works, and for the teachers, how well they can observe, how well they can teach. Here's an example of an indoor area. Again, I'd like for you to take a look at this. We have a great semicircular table. I'm not sure if you guys have used those before in teaching. The teacher sits in the center, and the children are all the way around. So it looks like we've got 4 seats. Yes, I love them too. They're great. It's great for small group activities because attention goes right here to the teacher. We've also got various toys and bins. It looks like there's lots of storage in this classroom. You can see an art area over here. More storage, great bright pictures on the wall. The only thing I'm really not sure about is this matting that's on the floor. It looks good when it's new. It's nice that it can cushion you, but it's a booger to sanitize because of all these little nooks and crannies. Dirt gets down in that, sticky stuff gets down in that food. So I'm not a big fan of this, especially the interlocking type. If it's one solid piece, yes, much better. So here's our indoor activities. What do we need in our indoor area? We need privacy areas because some children don't want to be with a group, and that's fine. We need soft areas where they can lounge if needed. Small areas for quiet time. We need boundaries to reduce distraction, which we brought up with that infant room, but there was really no boundary between the cribs. We need larger spaces for active large groups, and we need organized spaces and clear paths because safety is our #1 concern, but organization is so important in the classroom. Here's another floor plan I found. Now this would be for an enclosed facility. This is a small modular classroom or center. So this is something that, say you bought the land, you could have, these are pre-made, you could have this moved onto the land and set up in a fairly short amount of time. You'll notice on the front here, we've got a ramp because we're all about being accessible to children with wheelchairs or parents. This is the front entryway, about a little over 4 foot wide. I wish that was wider. Double doors for safety. Then you've got classrooms on either side, and you'll notice that they both have exit doors. Oh, you worked in one that was a modular phase? They're a little bit smaller, but it's a good way to get started. It really is. We've got a hallway, a bathroom for the boys with 1 stall, a bathroom with the girls with 2 stalls. If there were a lot of children in the facility, we would need more than this. That's kind of minimal. No extra storage areas. That's right, Lauren. I'm glad you noticed that. There's no, I don't see any built-in storage areas. Now you could buy various freestanding closets. You always want something that's going to be safe, that if the children try to climb on them, it's not going to be pulled over. They need to be anchored down. But yes, you're right. Over here we've got a big classroom. We have an office sort of in the center, and we've got a laundry room. That's how ours is, or both of them. Yes, great, exactly. More and more children are hurt every year by furniture. A big problem right now is the widescreen TVs, but those can be pulled over so easy, and children can be injured. So yes, we want safety. We want them bolted down. We want, in case it was pulled on, that it's not going to fall on a child and hurt them. So yes. So you would have to add quite a bit of storage or bins for this area. That's right. So this would be, it's 64 feet wide and 27 feet, or 64 feet long and 27 feet wide. So get used to looking at floor plans if it's something you see in your future, being a center owner, that maybe you'd have a chance to pick one out. Classroom space should reflect the program philosophy. It should be developmentally appropriate for the children. We're always talking about DAP issues, developmentally appropriate practices. It should be attractive, aesthetically pleasing. Place materials in the wall that promotes appropriate self-help skills, because yes, we're there to help them when needed, but we know more and more how important independence is, and for them to learn these skills on their own. We can always guide, but we don't want to do everything for them. We want them to have that opportunity. Provide a place for child to store personal belongings and to display work. Of course, artwork almost always goes on the wall, and then some type of a cubby for maybe their backpack or coat, whatever they brought with them. Classroom space. We should have a small group area, a large group area, a choice area for activities, quiet time. Keeping loud and quiet activities kind of apart is great if you have a larger classroom that you can divide them. Have some soft environments. The great thing about soft items is that they also help absorb noise. So that's actually one way to keep your noise level down, is having an appropriate number of soft environments. and always have clear pathways and areas. I'm kind of going through these fast, guys, because I know this is out of your book, and we spent so much time on the eFolio. Okay, the next thing, I'm not sure if you guys can see this really well. If you're on a computer, chances are you can, because this floor plan is going to be blown up a little bit more. I think this would be like a dream daycare to work in. Notice how everything rotates to the outside. It forms, it's like a cross pattern, but in another way it's also very round and circular as far as the flow goes. In the center, here's the front door. In the center is the lobby, where they would come in, get checked in, get settled for the day. They then go to their room, and I'm sure these would be grouped by age level. If you go to, we've got the orange room and the red room. In between, each classroom has their own set of bathrooms so that the children aren't going down the hallway to the bathroom. It's right there. And the orange room and red room have their own outdoor play area so that the playground can be customized to that child's developmental level. So, for instance, maybe we would have infants 1s and 2s in this area. Over here, it's the same thing. We have the purple and the blue room. They have their own bathrooms, also their own storage, built-in closets here, and their own outdoor play area. We'd have older children here. Then we've got the green room, the yellow room, their own outdoor play area. We have offices, adult bathrooms, kitchen, and down here they have what's called the rainbow room, and I'm guessing that would be the large group area where all the colors can come together. It looks like a little stage is built in maybe over here. Again, they have bathrooms in that room so that the children aren't having to leave to go. So doesn't this look like a great place? Do you think you could work here? You have, well, how neat, Benita. Did you enjoy it? And TAP said it's similar? Great. I think I would too. Oh, and they had a gym inside too. Oh, even better. Yes, yes. I wish I had all the money in the world and I could build my own. And I think this would be a great floor plan to start with. Yeah. So you guys keep that in mind. Put that on your list of things that you want. Okay. Physical environment. Let me see. It should be safe, healthy. Use carpet in some areas. Again, it's soft. It's going to absorb noise. However, it's also going to absorb fluids and spills. So I'm not a huge fan of carpet in arts or crafts areas or eating areas. Have water sources available. One thing that I like is a lot of centers are starting to add an outdoor water fountain so that when the children are outside playing on the playground, they don't have to go inside to get a drink. They can get a drink outside and stay hydrated well, which is what we want. Appropriate lighting, some natural light because it's important for us. And they should be flexible so that we can change things when needed. Here's an example of a fantastic looking outdoor area. You'll notice that the walk areas are all enclosed. You don't have to worry about children falling off. It does look like fun. This would have to be for older children, right? Look how big the slide is. But it's all enclosed, so we're not worrying about children falling off the slide, which we do have issues with on older playgrounds. So this looks like it would be fun. We've got a nice absorbent material down below, just in case falls do happen, which they do. Outdoor play structures. should be complex and designed to enhance use. They're multi-purpose. Provide graduated challenges, so it should challenge the age group but not exceed them. Promote social interaction. You guys may have run into children that find it hard to play with other kids on the playground, so we want the playground to do some of that work to help bring them together. Wood chips, and it's awful. Oh no, Chelsea. So what's bad about wood chips other than they just get everywhere, don't they? They also get wet when it rains, right? Does kids fall on them? Yes, yes. I'm a fan of the rubber material that they use now for playgrounds. They seem to drain better, not as much problems. And they like to throw them at each other. Oh, that's not good either. And you know, my kids' school, they still have rocks and gravel underneath their swing sets, and it's the same way. People get hurt on them, and they throw them at each other. Children dig in it and have gotten ringworm. Yes, yes. The thing is, if you have sand anywhere outside, it has to be covered in some way when you're not there. The thing is, stray cats love to go into the sandbox, and that's probably a pretty big source of ringworm right there. The stuff that they use on the football field. Yes, yes, with a little cushion, and you're good. Good drainage, yes. So playgrounds, yes, anchored in good repair. Safety guidelines. I think I've got. Here we go. Yes. Yes, don't. It is gross. You're right, Lauren. Okay, has anybody seen Imagination Playground before? If you have, raise your hand on the screen if you've seen this before. No? Oh, Chelsea, you have. Great, great. So I've got one person. Stephanie, no? This looks amazing. I've never been in an Imagination Playground, but I want to. All these little modular pieces are soft. A lot of them are shaped like building blocks, the smaller version. They come in storage cases. And the thing is, every time you get these out, something new is going to be created by the children that they get to play on and have a good time with. Now, if you look in your week 3 content, you'll see a video that shows children playing in an Imagination Playground. These can be mobile. They could be taken playground to playground, or it might be a permanent thing at your facility. I know, Stephanie, me too. I want one in my backyard. I think I would really have a good time with this. Here's a picture of children using them, and look at all the different shapes and sizes. These look like, oh, what were they called? Not Lincoln logs. Oh, the sticks from the wheels. I can't remember what they were called now. You've got curved pieces, and these can be used with water as well. So they can build waterways and run the water down it. They can build simple machines in a way if you can use the wheels and the sticks. So I think the beauty of this is that they're just creating every time they go out, and it's never the same. With a regular playground, sometimes they get bored with how it's set up. And with this, it's a brand new world every time you go out, depending on what children are there. But yeah, I want one for my backyard right now. Imagination Playground. I tried to look up the prices for them, and you had to fill out a pretty big questionnaire, so I'm unsure of how much this would run you. A few $1,000s. So a few questions real quick. We're almost done. How do recommendations for space and structure differ when you're considering the needs of infants and toddlers? I know exactly. Infants and toddlers, of course, we're not going to need as much room. It's the main thing. We're not going to need as much room. We wouldn't need as many outdoor playthings. For them, of course, they want to go outside, but they're not going to be climbing on many things unless they're low to the ground. So infants and toddlers, we don't need as much space even in the classroom. How do the structures differ when you when you consider the needs of school-age children? Of course, they're going to need bigger spaces. They're going to need more complex play areas. The school-age child is the one that's going to love the imagination playground. And it would be great if you had a space for all that equipment as well. Space, here's another one. How do the recommendations change when you consider children with disabilities? Well, you need to consider how the wheelchair will be able to move about if the child is in a wheelchair, how they would be able to move about around the playground. Is there a track that they could ride on? Are there ramps that lead up to some of the play equipment? Are there things that are accessible to them right away? If you have a child that is blind, are there items that they can use their hands with, that they can feel and play with? So it brings in a host of different things. Now here's a few examples of what they consider inclusive playgrounds. I love this right here. So finally, children who are wheelchair bound are able to swing. The ramp comes down on either side, and they're able to wheel onto the platform. There's usually locking mechanisms that keep them in the center. Of course, you're going to need a helper to help push, but this is amazing. Over here, we have another inclusive playground, and the main thing is the material that is underneath this great place. So it would be much easier for children to get around on this, not so many areas to slip on, to trip on. And you can't really see it over here, but there is a ramp that leads up to this play equipment. There's another ramp here so that they could get up to the higher playing areas. The only thing they wouldn't be able to do would be go down the slide in the wheelchair, but if they had a teacher's aid up here, that could get them out and slide down, they would love that, right? Just depending on what the disability is. So this is kind of a new term we're seeing, is inclusive playgrounds. Another thing this reminds me of is they now have playgrounds that have senior citizens in mind as well. I know that's the other end of the spectrum, but they have exercise equipment installed in some playgrounds in larger cities, like not treadmills, but the walking machines that go back and forth with your feet, so that senior citizens can have a workout when they're at the park. So that is, and that would also be an example of an inclusive playground. We're including everyone of all ages and different disabilities. Main thing, equipment needs to be safe, durable, the appropriate size for the children that are going to be there. It should be well constructed, nice, easy to clean, easy to maintain, and go with their stage of development. Have open-ended play. In other words, there's a way to be creative with this play equipment. Do the children receive any feedback when they're playing? Are they multi-purpose areas? So this is just an example of some things you might be looking for. Is it safe and durable? Does it require electricity? Because that can be an issue on a playground. Do you use a wide variety of materials? And are there duplicates of some materials? A great example of that would be bikes. You know, we want to have more than one bike, no bikes there. And here we are at the end, because we've been here for almost an hour here, guys. I hope you learned a little bit about interior and exterior environments with daycare facilities, and learned a little more about our final project. I hope everyone's starting to work on that. And they always say, you know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So just take your bites nice and slow so that you're not rushed during week 4 to get that done. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? Nope. No questions at all. I love you guys. You guys have a good night too. It's been nice being here. Email me or call me if you have any questions. I'm here for you, okay? Have a good night. Go get some homework done. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, Ashley.